My first Pokemon challenge was can you beat Red/Blue with only an Eevee, and that was over a year ago. Today, we return to the first generation of Pokemon games and find out, can you beat Pokemon Red/Blue with only a Paris? Looking at Paris' stats, its attack is actually not that bad. In fact, the only awful stat Paris has is his speed at 25. Everything else definitely isn't good, but it looks like we might be able to get by. Paris' learn set is definitely on the lacking side for Generation 1. Not learning very many moves by level up might cause a problem considering that Paris' only good move he'll learn via level up is Slash at level 34. The exact opposite goes for Paris' HM/TM list. We have a variety of moves like Double Team, Toxic, and Swords Dance just to name a few. It seems like we're going to have many options for this run. Now that we're done looking at his stats and moveset, let's go ahead and get right into the rules. Rule number 1. No using any other Pokemon in battle besides Paris. Other Pokemon will have to be caught in order to use HMs outside of battle, but they will not be used in battle. Rule number 2 is no using items in battle. If we used items in battle, this would just be too easy. Last but not least, no using hacks or cheating or exploits or glitches of any kind, because we all know Gen 1 is full of glitches. And with the rules out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the run. So like every run, we name our character Tion. It's technically pronounced Tion, so we're gonna go ahead and stick with that. Professor Oak then sees us trying to go in the grass without a Pokemon and then takes us back to his lab. Professor Oak then decides to give us one of his beloved Pokemon. Charmander, Squirtle, or Paris. I thought he was supposed to be Bulbasaur. I mean, I guess the video title would be different if it was. Anyway, we take Paris and name him Shroomish. Yes, I know, once again we name him Shroomish, but it actually makes sense this time because he has mushrooms and it's funny, guys, please laugh. Our rival ends up taking Charmander, which will definitely give us the most challenge. And since we're not using any items, this seems like it's not going to be an easy run at all. Our rival Blue then decides to take us on with his Charmander. We actually had the possibility of winning this battle and it got kind of close. But with Paris being the same level as Charmander, we end up going down. We then go get Oak's parcel and then deliver it to him. Receive the Pokedex, and our challenge officially begins. As we all know, the first gym leader is Brock, which can definitely cause an issue. Paris doesn't have any moves at this point that could actually do a lot of damage to rock types, so we have to grind. Eventually, we get up to level 10. Not much I know, but I'm hoping it's enough to take out Blue. I know at this level I could win, although I'm scared of Blue's Pidgey, which has Sand Attack and is known to cause issues. Eventually, after taking some Gust, we only end up getting Sand Attack twice, and with some luck we end up taking out Pidgey and now have to deal with his Charmander. Charmander does make this a close fight. Luckily we get a critical hit and cause massive damage. We also end up missing a few scratches due to being Sand Attacked earlier, but we barely end up winning and beating our rival. Now that our rival's out of the way, we have to go grind for Brock. We end up grinding in the grass right outside of Pewter City, getting all the way to level 20 and learning Leech Life and Stun Spore along the way. I know Leech Life is an awful move in Generation 1, but it does provide HP restoration, which is definitely helpful. At level 20, I'm kind of confident that we can beat Brock. I know we're a weak bug type, but I believe in you, Paris! Funnily enough, I tried to paralyze Brock's Geodude, and apparently he has 999 full heals, so yeah, forget that idea. I end up having to use Scratch, not wanting to use Leech Life PP on Geodude and use them for Onix. I then had to change my plan because Geodude was starting to do some damage to Paris. Leech Life didn't restore much, but it was our best shot of winning. It takes forever, but I finally beat Geodude. Next up is his level 14 Onix. Surprisingly enough, Paris' Leech Life does a lot of damage. Paris' Leech Life is actually enough to take the majority of Onix's health away. We then try to paralyze Onix again, but Brock still has 900 full heals. We go back to Leech Life and finally end up beating Onix. That battle definitely took a long time, but that was actually my first attempt. Grinding up to level 20 was definitely worth it due to the fact we couldn't paralyze any of his Pokemon. We do get the Boulder Badge and make our way through Mount Moon. We easily take out the Super Nerd and I have to choose a fossil. I always have people tell me I choose the wrong fossil, so I figured I'd just get someone else to do it. Hey, MVB.
Hey. What's up?
Do you know what fossil I should pick?
Helix, obviously. It's best for the YouTube algorithm.
I got Mah-Dry-Bread to tell me what fossil to pick, and I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna ask me anyway. And you should! It's good for the YouTube algorithm. All jokes aside, we then head towards Cerulean City to take on Misty. This battle actually went really well. Misty's Staryu wasn't able to damage Paris that much, and Leaf Life was enough to take it out. Even though Leech Life is an absolutely awful move in Gen 1, this is actually working out really well for us so far. Next out is Starmie, who is part Psychic type. That means Leech Life is going to do super effective damage, which is obviously great for us. We end up spamming Leech Life, easily taking out Starmie after a few turns. Once we take out Starmie, we do get the Cascade Badge from from Misty. This is actually going awesome. This is also my first attempt. Next up is our rival Blue. He only took a few attempts due to his Charmander, but overall it was a pretty easy fight. Next we head up to Bill's house and get the SS ticket and then head to Vermilion City. On the SS and we encounter our rival yet again. This time it took a few more attempts. All of Blue's Pokemon were easy, except for his Charmeleon. Paris is 4 times weak to fire, and 1 Ember was enough to do massive damage. Luckily for us, we learned Spore along the way, and that gives us the key to winning this battle. It definitely wasn't easy, only being at level 28, but we managed to pull through. We then go look in the trash can. Oh my. Ignoring what we saw in the trash can, we rub the captain's back, making him feel better. He then gives us HM Cut, and we teach it to the Farfetch'd we got from the little girl. Up next is Lieutenant Surge. I know Lieutenant Surge's electric type attacks won't do that much since Paris is part grass, so I think I'll be okay in this battle. In order to defeat Voltorb and Pikachu, Paris had to use Scratch. Obviously not the best move, but at least it's something. After a few scratches, Voltorb easily goes down. Next up is Pikachu. Due to Pikachu's low defense, he also goes down to 2 scratches. Last but not least is Raichu at level 24. Scratch does close to nothing compared to Pikachu and Voltorb. I then switched to Leech Life to see how much that does, and it does a little bit less, but we do get HP out of it, so I decided to use that for a few turns. Luckily I hit the crit and we do finish the battle. That was actually a pretty underwhelming fight. I expected more from you, Lieutenant Surge. We then receive the Thunder Badge and have to make our way through Rock Tunnel. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely hate Rock Tunnel, and I'm gonna act like it didn't drive me insane trying to find my way out of it this time. Next up is our rival battle in the Lost Tower. Due to us leveling up several times in Rock Tunnel, we actually learned Slash along the way, which is just a super buffed up version of Scratch. It ends up being a relatively easy fight due to being able to put Charmeleon to sleep with Spore. Once Charmeleon is asleep, we're just able to use Slash and deal a massive amount of damage, easily taking him out. Once we defeat Blue, we could either go to the Rocket Game Corner hideout or we could go take on Erica. I decided to go take on Erica. As we all know, Erica is the grass type gym leader, so no putting her Pokemon to sleep with Spore this time around. Erica was a very odd battle. Leech Life was able to do a lot of damage since in Gen 1, Poison is super effective against Bug and vice versa. We do end up getting poisoned and wrapped here, but it's okay, eventually we do break out and take out Victory Bell. Next out is Tangela at level 24. Generally, being poisoned like this would be a problem, but since Leech Life is healing me every turn, it's not really doing that much damage. We end up taking out Tangela with 1 more Leech Life, leaving her last Pokemon Vileplume. Somehow, Leech Life is able to do a massive amount of damage to Vileplume. I mean, just look how bad this move is, and it's actually doing really well. After defeating Erica, we go to the Rocket Hideout and take on Giovanni. Giovanni is a mainly ground type user, so I know if we're not careful, Paris will easily get taken out. Giovanni leads off with his level 25 Onix. We really don't have a good move for him, but since we are level 40, a few slashes is enough to take Onix out. It really looks like if we didn't have Slash, this run wouldn't be possible at all. His next Pokemon is a level 24 Rhyhorn. Now Rhyhorn of course resists Slash, but it does enough damage once again since we are vastly over leveled. Since we're using attacking moves and not special attacking moves, we do not learn growth. Next up is his level 29 Kangaskhan, who goes for Rage, and it really doesn't do that much damage, and 3 slashes is enough to take Kangaskhan out, beating Giovanni and moving on to the Lost Tower. In the Lost Tower, there's this ghost that is blocking the way to go up, and you do need the Sylph Scope to uncover who it is. Now this is a very spooky ghost, but using the Sylph Scope that we did get from Giovanni, we reveal it's just a Marowak. Not so spooky after all. We then take out Marowak once again, sending it to the afterlife, never to be seen again. Until the next playthrough. We then go up to talk to Mr. Fuji after defeating all the rocket grunts, and he gives us the Pokeflu, which we're able to use to get rid of Snorlax. We then go to our rival in Sylph Co. This battle was awful, and it forced me to grind up a few levels because Blue's Charmeleon evolved into a Charizard, and at this point it's very difficult to deal with. With the combination of Spore, Leech Life, and Slash, we're easily able to tear through his entire team until we get the Charizard. I'm really surprised to be seeing Leech Life still used this far in the game, even though it's a really awful move. We do end up getting the Charizard with 105 HP, but we are poisoned. Now for some reason, Charizard actually doesn't have Flamethrower at this point, and he only has Ember, and Ember is not enough to put Shroomish out, so we're able to hit him with Spore, giving us an opportunity to win. Now once we put Charizard to sleep, we don't have to worry about him attacking us, but we are poisoned at this point, and we only have 24 HP left. Luckily for us, Slash does a ton of damage. The first slash is almost enough to take Charizard out, but not quite enough. One more slash is enough to take him out and win the battle. Now that Blue's taken care of, we have to deal with Giovanni. Giovanni really wasn't that bad. He has a few poison types that was easily able to take care of. Anything that was a threat, I really just put to sleep with Spore. Nidorino goes down with only a few Leech Lives, and Kangaskhan goes down with only a few slashes. The only thing we really had a problem with in this battle was his Rhyhorn. Now we really didn't have a good move against Rhyhorn, so we just put him to sleep, and we got super lucky lucky and we got 3 crits with Slash in a roll, easily taking out Rhyhorn. Next up is Nidoqueen at level 41. Nidoqueen is part poison, so it's not really an issue with Leech Life. Since we are part bug, Nidoqueen's Poison Sting does do a little bit of damage, but we get the HP right back with Leech Life. After a few turns of spamming Leech Life, we take out Nidoqueen, easily defeating Giovanni. That battle wasn't bad at all. Next up is Sabrina. Sabrina is a Psychic type gym leader. Psychic is weak to bug, so this is gonna be good for Shroomish. Psychic hits hard, doing about a quarter damage, but we do end up taking out Kadabra with 1 critical Leech Life. Next up is Mr. Mime at level 37. Even though Mr. Mime sets up a barrier, we're still able to take it out with only a few Leech Lives. As you can see, we're almost at full HP here, and Sabrina's not really causing an issue at all. Next up is Venomoth at level 38. Venomoth goes for Poison Powder, poisoning us as we do get off a Leech Life, doing about half HP. One more is just short of taking it out, as Venomoth goes for its own Leech Life, getting some HP back, but 1 more is enough to take it out. Next up is Alakazam, who does end up taking us out with a couple Psybeams. It does take 1 more attempt, but we do end up beating Alakazam this time. The only reason we won is because Alakazam went for Reflect instead of Psybeam, and I'm not really sure why she did that, but it worked out for us in the end. Now that Sabrina's out of the way, next up is Koga. Now because Gen 1 is Gen 1, Bug is super effective against Poison, and Poison is super effective against Bug. Since we have the level advantage on Koga, Leech Life is going to be a really useful move once again. Not wanting to take any chances, we put Coughing to sleep and then take it out with a couple Leech Lives. We end up doing the same strategy with Muck, putting it to sleep with Spore and then using Leech Life to finish it off. It looks like this is the strategy I'll be using this entire battle. Instead of putting Coughing to sleep this time, we just go straight for Leech Life, but it's just short of doing enough damage to 2-shot it, so 1 more is enough to take it out. Looking back at it, I probably should have just put it to sleep to be safer. His last Pokemon is a level 43 Weezing, who we instantly put to sleep. Since you don't attack on the turn you wake up in Gen 1, we instantly put Weezing back to sleep as soon as he wakes up. We then use Leech Life, doing a lot of damage, eventually doing enough to take it out. This was by far the easiest Koga battle I've ever had. Now that Koga's out of the way, we have to go get the Golden Teeth out of the Safari Zone along with Surf. After getting lost for only a few minutes in the Safari Zone, we eventually do find the Gold Teeth, and we also find TM Double Team in the Safari Zone right next to the Surf House. We then collect our prize at the Secret House, getting HM Surf, giving us access to go get Blaine. Oh yeah, we also return the Golden Teeth to the Warden for HM String. We then go to the Abandoned Mansion, find TM- wait, this isn't the secret key, what? I guess they replaced the key location in the remakes, I don't know, but the key's here now, so don't ask me why. No, actually ask me anyway, it's good for the YouTube algorithm. So, Paris is 4 times weak to fire, and that's obviously a huge problem because Blaine is the fire type gym leader. So in order to get to a level where I even thought I had a chance, I had to use every single rare candy I could and take on every single trainer that was even close to me. So after getting absolutely demolished for our first few attempts, we eventually do find a way to win. Paris is strong enough to take out his Growlithe and Ponyta in only a couple hits with Slash. His Rapidash and his Arcanine was definitely the problem in this battle. Even though we're 20 levels higher than this Rapidash, it still outspeeds me. Luckily, his Fire Blast misses and we're able to put it to sleep, finishing it off with Slash. Next up is Arcanine, and for some reason Arcanine goes for Ember instead of Fire Blast, but I'm definitely not complaining. Obviously we couldn't live a Fire Blast, but I'm assuming he just didn't want to take the chance and miss. Now that we put him to sleep, all we have to do is hope that he stays asleep long enough that we're able to finish him off. For some reason Blaine then uses a Super Potion, and I honestly have no idea. Blaine is always the one to use stupid items at stupid times. Luckily for us though, we do get the crit with Slash, and 1 more Slash is enough to take it out, finally beating Blaine, and that- oh wait, never mind, I lied. Luckily he stays asleep 1 more turn and we're able to finish him off this time, and of course he already wasted his Super Potion, Super Potioning his Arcanine at full HP, but hey, we won. Blaine definitely had the most potential to easily destroy us, but we still ended up winning relatively easy only after a few attempts. Now that Blaine is out of the way, next up is Giovanni. Now for this gym, I really didn't want to struggle and level up all the way to like a level 100, so we do replace a move in order to learn Dig. This is a really good moveset, but I think that we use Stun Spore the least amount of time, so we go ahead and replace Stun Spore for Dig. Now this battle with Giovanni was nothing special. Now with our newfound move Dig, we're able to use it and absolutely destroy everything on his team, dealing super effective damage. Giovanni's supposed to be one of the strongest gym leaders, but only a level 63 Paris with Dig is more than enough to take out every single one of his Pokemon. After finishing off Rhydon with only 2 digs, almost finishing him off there with 1, we do get the Earth Badge from Giovanni, moving on to the rival fight. We easily sweep through his entire team, easily taking out every single Pokemon except his Charizard. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to come back on this one. There's no way we're winning this anytime soon. We grind up at the Abandoned Mansion and on some of Blue's Pokemon and eventually get all the way to level 71. At this level, we're somehow able to survive a Flamethrower with only 7 HP as we are able to put Charizard to sleep. Luckily for us, once he's asleep, we're able to use Slash, and he does stay asleep enough turns turns, so we're able to finish him off. This was definitely a very challenging battle, and I'm not really sure how we're gonna deal with him in the Elite Four. Victory Road is weird. It's like a worse version of Fire Red and Leaf Green, and obviously it is, but there was just some subtle differences that really threw me off. The first Elite Four member is Lorelei with strong water and ice type Pokemon. We end up putting Dugong to sleep, taking it out with only a couple slashes. We do the same thing with Cloyster, easily taking him out. Next up is Slowbro, and me trying to save PP for Spore, we end up taking it out with only using Leech Life. We easily take out Jinx with only a couple slashes, and we put Lapras to sleep, finishing it off the same way, easily beating Lorelei, making it one of the easiest Elite Four battles I've ever had. Next up is Bruno. Now funnily enough, I actually forgot to heal in between battles here, so we're coming into this one only at 77 HP. We use Dig on Onyx, almost taking him down, but he does end up surviving with only a sliver of health. He hits us with Rock Throw, almost taking us out with a crit, but one more Dig is enough to take him out. Next out is Hitmonchan at level 55, and luckily we do get the crit with Slash, easily taking him out when one hit. Next is Hitmonlee at level 55, and we do end up putting it to sleep because Bruno ends up using an X defend instead of taking us out for some reason, but I'm definitely not complaining. We end up taking out Hitmonlee with one critical slash as well. Next out is his second Onyx at level 56, and we almost take him out with one Dig. He survives only with a sliver of health, and we end up taking him out with Leech Life. Next up is his strongest Pokemon, Machamp at level 58. Luckily we do outspeed, but he wakes up instantly and we put him right back to sleep. Now Machamp keeps waking up on us, which is obviously bad, but we do outspeed, so we're able to lock him into this endless sleep, eventually taking him out with a combination of Spore and Slash. Taking out Bruno, first try with only 77 HP. That's a big F in chat for Bruno. Agatha was a very annoying battle like always, but with a combination of Dig and Slash, we're able to take out most of her Pokemon pretty easily. We take out Gengar with only one Dig, as she does withdraw her Golbat for some reason, and we do end up taking Arbok out with the Dig as well. Golbat is back out, and we do hit it with Slash, almost taking it out with one hit. Gengar comes out, as we do use Dig once again, trying to do a massive amount of damage. Luckily we don't get confused and take it out. Golbat, having nowhere else to run, has to face the fact that we're better than it, and we take it out with another Slash, beating Agatha, moving on to Lance. I realize that we're not using Mega Drain much, even though we just taught it to Shroomish, so we go ahead and replace it with Double Team because Double Team is by far the better move. My entire strategy for this one was to put Gyarados to sleep and then use Double Team. Eventually we do get the run where we get enough Double Teams set up so we're safe, and we end up taking out Gyarados using Slash. Next up is his two Dragonairs who go down to Dig, and then his next one goes down to a few slashes. Next up is Aerodactyl, level 60, and we really don't have a good move for it, so we just use Slash a whole bunch, eventually taking it out. He does try to hang on using a Hyper Potion, but eventually we do get his HP back down, leaving his last Pokemon Dragonite. We put Dragonite to sleep for safety because we only have 3 PP left for Slash, and Dig won't affect it since Dragonite's a flying type. Luckily we get the crit, taking out Dragonite and defeating Lance, bringing us to our last battle with our rival. In order to beat our rival, we do have to set up our double teams. Luckily Pidgeot goes for Mirror Move first turn, so we're able to put it to sleep, and then he can't hit us from then on. I ran out of PP restoring items, so we end up replacing Slash and getting Solar Beam instead. After getting all of our double teams set up, we do end up using Solar Beam on Pidgeot. Now I really wasn't sure how much this would do, but it does so much for a resisted move. One more Solar Beam is enough to take Pidgeot out, as his next Pokemon is Alakazam, who also gets taken out with one Solar Beam. Next up is Rhydon, who also gets taken out with one Solar Beam, surprise surprise, and next up is Executor, who we use Dig on instead. 2 digs is just short of being able to take him out, but one more dig is enough to take Executor out. Next out is his level 63 Gyarados, and I really wasn't sure once again how much Solar Beam would do, but apparently Solar Beam is broken in this game because it destroys everything in its path. So this Charizard right here is the reason why I almost went insane. This thing was not cooperating at all. It doesn't matter how many times I put it to sleep, it always woke up and killed me at the last second. Not to mention I could only hit this thing with Solar Beam, which obviously won't do much damage because it's ×4 resisted. Eventually I realized with this moveset there's only one way to win, and that is to get to struggle. And to get to struggle we have to be extremely lucky and be extremely careful. We do have 6 double teams set up, so he might not hit us, but we also have to keep him asleep just for safety. It took many attempts, but eventually we do get that run where we get access to use struggle. All we have to do is hope he stays asleep and misses if he does wake up. We hit him with one struggle, leaving him with only a sliver of HP, as the next turn he does stay asleep, and we are able to finish him off with one more struggle. Oh my gosh, guys, that was literally one of the hardest rival battles ever. Resorting to struggle at the very end was definitely something I was not planning on doing, but eventually it worked out in the end. It took long enough, but eventually we become the Pokemon League champion with only a Paris. Guys, I think Paris deserves a like. If you enjoyed this, make sure you leave a like below. We beat this at level 76, which isn't even close to being max level, and I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, but it definitely was not easy by a long shot. But seriously guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button below, and if you really want to see more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. If you want to see me do a run, make sure you comment down in the comments below, and I will make sure to look at it. Again guys, thanks a ton for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out guys, and thanks for watching.